never seen anything like it.
This is not the Redfall I remember.
Ever forward!
We've all heard the news that Redfall is not doing so great right now. This is a bit of a surprise as it comes from Arcane Studios, and even from one of the guys that brought us Dishonored and Prey, the two games that got me into Arcane Studios games in the first place. Fortunately for me, I didn't wait for any reviews, and as soon as Redfall dropped on Game Pass, I focused on nothing but that to avoid all the news about it. I did this so I could have an unbiased opinion on the game. I then decided to complete all side quests and main missions, and give a full spoiler video on everything I dealt with, in the hopes that you don't have to. The story begins with a flashback. Get used to that. With some lady character talking about her blood was important and was being used to create cures up until it wasn't. Vampires then start showing up and all hell breaks loose. 4 main survivors who are special for untold reasons try to escape via ferry, but through vampire magic all the water gets pulled away, trapping you in a pit of dry land with giant walls of water blocking all forms of exiting. You awaken inside of the ferry with 2 vampires eating some dude. They scatter when a relatively cool looking vampire chick with the flame halo comes floating in. She spouts some shit about you being special and she's gonna use you to get what she wants. She then gets burned by the sun and gets mad at you for it.
You will never see the sun again.
Doesn't make any sense. By the way, she's gonna be the final boss. I tell you that, and I'm sure you're completely unsurprised by this fact, but the game and the main characters act as if this is some giant reveal by the end of the game. No joke, they completely forget that they introduced her in the very beginning. She's one of the Beck twins. Her and her brother are the ones who brought this special blood lady to Redfall in the beginning. The game forgets to make any of this relevant until you reach the second map, as they make you focus all of your attention on someone called the Hollow Man.
Go. Yes, me, it's an improvement.
Yeah, you could almost pass for human.
No, not that one. Though he would be much cooler. So, you escape and reach a fire station, where you fight off humans who are basically familiars. They work for the vampires. And now that you've seen them, you've seen all the human enemies. Again, I am not kidding. You save the survivors and are introduced to a tattooed reverend. She has a cool design and you think that she might have some kind of explanation as to the juxtaposition of tattoos on a reverend. But nope. Here you're introduced to the concept that all characters in this game, including the main characters, are more hollow than the Hollow Man. Everyone is so flat and two-dimensional. There's a pregnant lady named Anna who, with her husband Joe, run the gun lockup in the game. Later, Anna is giving birth at a vet clinic. Why there? Because her husband Joe decided out of the blue to sacrifice her and the baby to the vampires. She gets away and gives birth. That's the end of Anna's story. You do encounter Joe towards the end of the game and kill him, but if you were thinking this is some kind of cool revenge moment, it's not. I got an achievement for killing him, but I didn't even know it was him. I thought it was just another regular vampire, because all vampires in this game look the same. God, I wish I was joking. Anyways, you work with the fire station survivors to track down the Hollow Man and kill him. These missions are nothing more than go here, press button, good job. The Hollow Man likes to broadcast his face all over Redfall, so we have to go to the TV station and figure out where he's broadcasting from. We go to where it is and kill him. Done. There are small, if you can call them, cutscenes that are just floating static images with your chosen character giving a small narration. These were all pointless and drawn out that I just ended up skipping these. I'll show you one, and I want you to try to figure out what mission we're about to do.
No, of course not.
Bellwether's on form, that's for damn sure. Got a cultist to talk, betray their god. And Bloody Tom is convinced he's some kind of god. His name was Thomas Killdeer, brain scientist. They even gave him everything he wanted. Let him sit at home, open doors into places that shouldn't exist. Like he was building his own worlds. Like those nests, or where we found the Hollow Man. He's got to have some remnant we can use. His cult's dug in at the Burial Point campgrounds. I name it that. Damn. And there's nothing to it but to storm the place. That's what we thought we'd be doing. Till Bloody Tom came to tell us otherwise.
If you thought we were going to meet up with a cultist who is going to betray his vampire god, you'd be wrong. The mission was to go to their campground, pretend to be an initiate, and break into the psychic door. Anyways, you meet up with the Hollow Man, who was originally a doctor who accidentally killed his own daughter by drinking her blood. Big wow. So you kill him and unlock the second map known as Burial Site. Burial. That's the name of the town. Also, they keep the identity of the Hollow Man shrouded in mystery for the whole first half. And once you see him, you realize that he's the Nosferatu-looking douchebag from the cover. As for boss fights, I want to say it wasn't bad, but it wasn't good either. I actually don't remember it at all. Just shoot, whittle down the health, and stake him. In each map, you have sections that each contain their own safe houses and historical sites that you can fast travel to. And trust me, you're going to be fast traveling everywhere at every chance, because there's no reason whatsoever to explore the map unless you want to kill the same enemies over and over again, or find loot and make money that you're never going to spend because they never sell anything good. Or you're going to find it in some lady's handbag in the next 2 minutes anyways. The safe houses have their own side quests. Sounds like it could be intriguing, but again, nope. Each safe house only has 2 quests. One is a repeating side quest you've done multiple times already, and the last quest is to go hunt down a specific vampire and get their skull. These are necessary, by the way, to access the bosses, so they're not technically side quests. They need to be done. In the first map there are 5 safe houses, and you need 3 skulls. So 6 out of 10 side quests need to be completed. In the second area, there's 8 safe houses, and you need 6 skulls. Do not call them side quests if they need to be done. And the sad thing about it is, the idea of hunting down special vampires could be cool, but there's 3 key factors that kill this. 1. Even though they have special names, they are the exact same enemy models we've seen already. 2. They have no backstory when they absolutely should. For instance, one of the vampires you need to kill is the former pastor of a church. Now, your mind might be thinking, oh, an older guy in some kind of religious garb, perhaps? Nope, it's a regular vampire in leather who also looks like he might be 20 years old. And 3, there's nothing special about them. They don't have any buffs, any strengths or weaknesses. They're just vampires. I ended up just grabbing my strongest weapon, going right up to them, shooting them in the head, one-shotting them, then fast traveling back to my next mission. You have to do this 9 times. Before I get off topic again, let's finish up telling the story. In Burial Site, there are 4 more vampire gods, and to fight them, you have to do exactly what you've done before. Go to point A, grab MacGuffin, fast travel back. You're now looking for a, fuck. I can't remember his name. Like, seriously, for the life of me, I cannot remember his name. This is not a joke. I'm writing this down in my script because I can't remember it, nor do I have the energy to type it into my Google search because who the fuck really cares? Okay, anyways, one of the vampire gods is named Miss Whisper, who has some kind of history with the character that I chose, Jacob Boyer, the sniper. What is this history, you may ask? Well, listen here as Jacob tells us all about it.
Miss Whisper and Bloody Tom. Now, Bloody Tom's got all those freak bodies on sticks. And Miss Whisper's the one that did my eye in and set this bird on me.
And that's all we get. Even when you confront her, there is no acknowledgement that they have a history. After killing both of these gods, you then meet Charles Beck, one of the twins who started this whole vampire ordeal. He helps you track down his sister, Why? Because she murdered him with a clock. Even though he's right behind his astral projection, clearly still alive. This kills him, by the way. Thanks. So you go to face the final boss, and oh my god, it's that vampire from the beginning. Who would have thunk it? And out of the 3 bosses we've already encountered, which were decent tough enemies with health bars, how does this one fare? Oh, you don't attack her at all. You face a gauntlet of enemies and activate 3 switches and you're done. Each of these 5 vampire gods were all doctors who drank the blood of that girl with the special blood. Oh, did you forget about her? Well, don't worry, so did the game. They finally give us her name at the very end. It was Grace. She then tells you that there's still more to do, and as you step into the sunlight, expecting to continue exploring the map, the game ends and won't let you continue. Sorry. Also, look at how the game tries to convey sunlight coming through in such a dramatic and fulfilling way.
Run. Thank you.
By the way, I wanted to see how long it would take if I just focused on the main quests alone. In the second area, if you could skip all the static cutscenes that you're forced to listen to, or all the memories that you're forced to watch, which are completely boring, all of the cutscenes and exposition is so lazily done in this game, I would have finished much faster. But in total, all the main quests took me 2.5 hours. The main quest plus all side quests only took me about 18 hours to complete. Now, because this isn't a review of the game, more of a warning, I needed to make bullet points of everything I needed to talk about because, whew boy, there's a lot. Alright, let's talk about the gameplay. Now, I could forgive a bad story if the gameplay was fun. Was it? No. Well, how about in co-op? In co-op, it goes from no to meh. And that's saying something, as pretty much any co-op in a game can make it better. But no, especially since campaign progress only follows the host. My fiance and I played for a bit, and within the first 10 minutes, she clipped into a wall with no way to escape, so we had to go to the main menu, which boots all players by the way, as there's no drop-in, drop-out multiplayer mechanic, then lobby up again, and continue. Now, she played as the psychic while I played the sniper, and to be honest, the main characters can be cool and intriguing, especially since dialogue will change depending on who you're playing with. However, the characters will repeat the same dialogue to each other ad nauseum.
Jesus, how'd you do that? Jesus, how'd you do that?
Tom lost part of his brain in a hunting accident. His memory only lasts 10 seconds.
Jesus, how'd you do that?
And once you reach level 5, which you will do within the first 30 minutes, you have already unlocked all their skills. Again, I am not kidding. You don't have to use perk points to unlock them. They just become unlocked as you level up. Any perk points being used for them are nothing more than inventory capacity for ammo, or for damage, duration, and cooldown speed. Now, your alt may have some minor changes, such as Jacob's ghostly sniper being able to shoot enemies through walls or causing splash damage, but that's it. Now, normally in open world RPG style games, the enemies level with you and give you more XP depending on what level they are, right? Not in this one. Human enemies will always give you 25 XP throughout the entire game. Vampires will always give you like 40 or 60. Even though you need more XP to level up each time, as is the norm, try to have fun shooting the same enemies even longer to gain a perk point that won't make much of a difference anyways. This game has killed grinding. Not to mention the main quests. Normally you gain more XP as you progress through the story. Not in this one. No matter how far you get, every main quest will always give you 1400 XP. Why that number, I don't know. Also, no matter what level you are, enemies don't do damage based on a point system, but more of a percentage system. For instance, if one vampire swipe causes 30% damage, it will always cause 30% damage no matter what level you are. I had a moment where I had 600 health, and a regular human enemy came up to me with a shotgun and did 400 points of damage. Yet, no matter how much health they have, a headshot is always a one-shot. Well, depending on how far away you are. And here's another problem. There is a distance-based damage. Why? That's all I want to ask. Why? It adds nothing to the game except to force you to get close to all the enemies, which are usually grouped in bunches of shooting enemies and melee enemies. And I can understand, oh, they don't want the melee enemies to be overpowered by your shots from a distance, but they aren't anyways, because no matter how far you are, if you shoot a vampire, they will just immediately teleport right behind you. Now, I know I'm going off on so many tangents, but it's kind of difficult to pinpoint one bad thing about this game because it connects to 3 other bad points. I feel like I'm trying to find Pepe Silvia over here.
I decided, oh shit, buddy, I gotta dig a little deeper. There's no Pepe Silvia, you gotta be kidding me! I got boxes full of Pepe!
Being said, it leads me to another point, which will lead me to another point, and then another. Anyways, to kill vampires in this game, you need to stake them. Honestly, I'm fine with this concept. It's an okay concept. It gets extremely repetitive by the end, but it's vampires, so what are you gonna do? So, my character is a sniper. I need to shoot dudes way over there. The thing is, even if I do, I will still need to run my ass down there before they recover so I can stake them. So a sniper in single player is absolutely pointless. Now, what could they do to fix this? Well, how about giving us weapons with different perks and abilities? And before you say, oh, they can't add that, they already did. I found a pistol which shoots out UV bullets, which could kill vampires without having to stake them. I found this weapon to be extremely useful. So why not have a sniper rifle with the same kind of ammo? Or maybe having silver bullets that do additional damage. I found a machine gun pistol which would shoot electrified bullets, but being that it ate through ammo so quickly and would barely electrocute things, what was the point? Now, there are certain guns which can kill vampires without needing to melee stake them. You can shoot your stake at them with the stake launcher. Kind of like a no-splash type rocket launcher. Super effective, but very slow. You know what weapon would be a great shotgun or machine gun style weapon that can kill vampires without having to stake them and would be fitting in this universe? How about a fucking crossbow?
Instant death, instant death, instant death, instant death, instant death, instant death! Ah!
You have a vampire game without having a crossbow. You are Arcane Studios. You popularize crossbows with Dishonored. You can get a UV gun, which works as you'd expect. Apart from being a decent weapon, it also has a secondary function that the game does not tell you about until you reach the second map, and that's only if you're listening to the annoying radio broadcasts, which I didn't. You know those vampires that cause the damaging red mist all over town that can impede your progress? Well, a UV gun petrifies them. I found this out on accident. Also, why not have the electric gun use the same ammo type as the UV gun? It would make more sense. I guess it's too much. So, you have a few decent guns which all function differently enough, yet you are limited to 3 weapons at a time. Now, haven't we figured out by now that having a weapon wheel doesn't make you overpowered? Look at Doom Eternal. All guns at the tip of your fingers, yet you can still get bodied in seconds. This actually discourages you from experimenting with different weapons because, hey, if it doesn't work, you die. Lose 10% of your money, which as we mentioned before doesn't really mean anything. So you stick with weapons you know work. Because you don't want to die and sit through a loading screen, and wake up at a safe house and run your ass back to where you were trying to get to. I tried using the flare gun a few times in this game, but it never felt any different than a pistol that fired slower. If this game is trying to be realistic, then try harder, maybe? You know, I don't know, like vampires out in sunlight, even though we clearly watched a vampire get hurt and by the sun in the beginning. Okay, look, I know she creates the black sun, which doesn't actually really block the sunlight, as you can see by this beautiful sunny day. It just blocks the UV rays. Or does it? Because there is a quest later where you have to kill a specific vampire, but he will only come out during the nighttime because he is afraid of the sun. Oh my god, my brain. Oh, and melee combat. You punch things when you have a stake. There is a minor stealth mechanic which is absolutely broken with a sniper, since he can go invisible and literally just sprint through everything. If you were in stealth and melee a human from behind, it would be an instant kill. Can't do it to a vampire though, even though some kind of instant stealth kill would be useful and cool and even possible, since you have at least 30 stakes on you at all times. Cosmetic or real, look at the stake launcher, you have 12 stakes on you at all times. Because the combat got so repetitive, I actually did just go invisible and run through everything. And many times I wouldn't even need to, because the enemy AI is just so ridiculously stupid. And not only are they stupid, they are the exact same. I mentioned before that the human enemies are all the same, just with different weapons. One specific enemy can lay down a turret to fight, but that's the biggest versatility you're gonna see. There's another human enemy that has a bullhorn, which just activates an alarm meter, which when it's full, you fight a really strong vampire who you take out just like the rest. As for the vampires, in an open world vampire game, there are only 7 vampire types. You got the regulars, you got ones called siphons, which can suck your blood from a distance, anglers, which pull you in for an inescapable attack, usually the cause of many of my deaths because you can't escape, but you can still get hurt while they grab you from other enemies. Rooks, which are just the mini bosses that show up when that alarm gets filled. Shrouds, which just shoot shadow balls at you and obscure your vision. Watchers, which are like snipers and easily taken out. And then you have 2 that are kind of different but function the exact same way. Bloodbags and Sin Keepers. The only reason I remember all these names is because you fight them so frequently that it just kind of sticks in your head. Now, the Bloodbags and Sin Keepers are the suiciding exploding type enemies, but the only difference with the Sin Keepers is that they are blue and they have story flashbacks inside of them. Once you kill them, you watch the most boring version of a flashback you will ever see in any video game.
How much trouble you caused? Why would you talk to me? Why would you say that?
I don't know. I was just telling the truth.
And now our investors think we're lying to them.
Oh, and did I mention that they all look the same? I did. Well, let me say it again. The Angler is a red-headed vampire. All of them, all of the Anglers are the same red-headed vampire. Even when the game goes like, oh, my poor 13-year-old daughter turned into a vampire, she is now a 30-year-old looking redhead in a black dress. Even though they can have different names, that's like the only different thing about them. Speaking of that, the overall graphics are just bland. My fiance had asked me if this was an old game, something that she thought came out as a launch title for the PS4 or Xbox One, which I thought was insulting to launch titles.
Wow.
I don't understand how a game this small, so bland, with nothing new to show, is 100 gigabytes. And I have saved the best for last. The biggest sin that this game has is the waypoints, or lack thereof. In any open world game, you have a compass, which has waypoints to where your next main objective is, or where the nearest safe house is, the nearest objective, whatever. Maybe if not on your compass, somewhere on your screen. Redfall has neither. You have to manually open the map and set your own waypoint for yourself for literally every single objective. I once had forgotten to remove a waypoint from an old quest when I started a new quest, fast traveled to the new location, then walked all the way back to the old quest because of my waypoint. This compass is the most useless thing I have ever seen in any video game. It only provides a hint if you are 100 meters away from the marker, but by then you can see what you're going towards anyways. How has Arcane fucked this minor aspect up so bad? Was it a creative decision? The only thing creative about it is it was creating my bad mood.
The effect? I'll tell you what the effect is. It's pissing me off.
I've just gone off on a rant, trying to share my pain with you in hopes that you do not do the same. By this point, I don't even know if I want Arcane to release patches to fix it because the damage is already done. Normally, I'm okay with games patching itself after a while, but they're never usually this bad. Okay, Fallout 76, yes, but still. And to be fair, 76 became one of my favorite games, but this one, it just hit me differently. It just felt like an insult. Maybe one day if Arcane fixes it, I might look at it again. But with how much love and care they've put into it so far, I doubt they're gonna even try to fix it. But I got lucky. I played it for free. I feel sorry for everyone who purchased this or pre-ordered this game. Please take my warning. Stay away from this one. Even co-op does not make it better. Do you know what Redfall is backwards? It's laughter. Because this game is nothing but one big fucking joke.